Well, Medicare's annual enrollment period is almost here, and that can leave a lot of folks eligible for Medicare with a lot of questions. This afternoon, we have Julie Forrester from the Area Office on Aging with us to talk more about that enrollment process and the resources the Senior RSVP program offers to help get your questions answered. Boy, it's like, I told her a little while ago, my wife retired 2 years ago, and we got her into a Medicare program. It's like just being tossed into the deep end of a cold pool. Because
that's a nice way of putting it.
It's so complicated. and the best you can do is either have an expert like yourself to guide you through it, or an insurance expert possibly who does experience with that, or basically if you could find a friend who's gone through it and can let me walk you through it.
Right. It is a very complicated, confusing process, and it goes across the board. Educated, you name it.
Yeah.
Anybody that we deal with is like,
yeah,
what's going on with this? Yeah. So what we do at the Area Office on Aging is we provide objective information. What I like to say is I like to empower and educate my clients so that they understand the process a little better and they feel comfortable and safe with the decision that they made.
I know from talking to a financial expert a few years ago, he said, when you're picking your Medicare program, you do not want to go with the one that has Joe Namath advertising for it on TV, only because these are big companies that are very expensive, and they'll rip you off because what they'd like to do, they spend a lot of their money in paying for celebrities to endorse it. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to actually taking care of the client, you're kind of on your own.
No, and that is so true, Dan, that's so true. I end up having to help a lot of people get out of those plans because what they do is they encourage you to call and entice you and say how fabulous this program is, and then you call a no-name person on TV,
You might be entitled to more money.
Exactly. And then when I'm trying to get some of these people out of a bad situation, they don't even know who they spoke with. They, the whole thing, it's definitely a scary thing. I understand why so many older adults are confused, complicated, or, very upset about this whole entire process. So I'm really glad things like this, where I can come on and talk about what we do at the Area Office on Aging. One
thing when you're looking for your supplements is also like a husband-wife may be a different health situation. For example, if you have a woman who's got speed pass to the doctor and the guy's never sick, their requirements are a little bit different, and they may have to pay a little more to have a certain program.
There's so many different kind of facets. I have a lot of husband and wife clients who are on totally separate plans just for that exact reason. So some people who might have more medical issues, they might be interested in another type of plan that less out-of-pocket expenses, but you pay a little bit more in premiums. And then someone who might not have as many health issues, or they don't mind being in network, there's another plan called the Advantage Plan. So truly both plans are great for people to tailor their individual needs.
Now, okay, real quick here. Original Medicare, most of everybody enrolls in Medicare when you turn that age. Mm-hmm. So Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement, what's the difference in those two?
Medicare Advantage plans, 99% of them cover Part A, Part B, and your drugs.
Oh.
Okay, so that's a real nice facet because there are several plans, Advantage plans that you can get with 0 monthly premium. Okay, so there is a huge advantage to that. However, they're networks, either HMOs or PPOs, and we can explain all that when you come in, but they really do help. They have out-of-pocket, maximum out-of-pockets, etc. The supplemental plans, also called Medigap, those are a little bit more pricey. However, they cover all your expenses. No co-pays, nothing.
So basically there's a smorgasbord out there, and you can just choose what happens to fit your financial situation and your health situation.
Exactly.
Julie,
exactly.
A lot to embrace there, but thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Julie Forrester talking about Medicare and Medicaid. Be right back.